All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Bethany Brule. I am a UROP advisor, and I want to thank you all for joining me in our information session for the Summer Undergraduate Research Program. It is 3:01, so I do want to get started. And just for you folks, in case you have to leave early or are joining later, this session will be recorded and will be posted on our website later on. Um, my hope and my goal for you all for today is to get a better understanding of what our recognition and funding opportunity is about and see if you're eligible for this great opportunity that we have. So just so we know and we're all on the same page, the application deadline for SURP is Friday, April 3rd, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. If for whatever reason you would like to contact us, we do have our contact information down here. You can find us on the 5th floor of the Science Library. Our website is urop.uci.edu. We also are very active on our socials, specifically on LinkedIn and on Instagram. So if you'd like to go ahead and follow us on there, that would be great. So let's go ahead and get started. So what is the Summer Undergraduate Research Program, also known as SURP? The Summer Undergraduate Research Program is an opportunity that is exclusive for UCI undergraduates engaged in a UCI faculty mentored research project or creative activity. It gives you recognition as a UROP Fellow and also could provide you a funded award while continuing your research with a UCI faculty mentor over the summer. One misconception that we often come across is that most students will think that we place students in a research opportunity. With SURP, you are responsible for finding your own research opportunity. In other words, we do not provide you with the research opportunity. So this opportunity is exclusive to students who are currently doing research and are doing research specifically with the UCI faculty. These are some important dates that you should know for SURP specifically. Again, the application deadline will be April 3rd, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. And you will get a notification if you were selected for SURP by June 5th, 2026. Again, your research must be conducted during summer 2026 in order to participate in SURP. Who can participate or who is eligible for SURP? We welcome all current UCI Irvine, UCI undergraduate students engaged in a UCI faculty mentored research project or creative activity being carried out in summer 2026. If you are not a UCI undergraduate student, unfortunately, you are not eligible for this. We do have some checklist items that you must meet to also participate. So all applicants must be enrolled as a UCI degree seeking undergraduate student all the way through fall 2026. If you are graduating in the summer, unfortunately, you do not qualify for this. You must be enrolled in fall 2026. You must also have a UCI Academic Senate faculty who is guiding your project. If you don't really know what that means, we have a SURP guide where we kind of define this a little bit more. This is very important just because there are faculty on campus who might have the title of a lecturer, meaning that they're not really full-time staff at UCI. If that is the person that you are working with, unfortunately, that would not qualify you for SURP. You must also be in good academic standing, meaning you must have a GPA of 2.0 or higher. You must also submit an individual application. We do recognize that some of you folks are participating in a lab or a research project with a group of folks. If that is you, each group member must submit an individual application. No group applications exist for SURP. Just like what I articulated here. And because we are requiring some documents from you all, we would also like for you to have individual or independent aims when it comes to your proposal if you are that person who is participating in a group project or a research lab. And one thing with that as well is you should all not submit the same proposal. Again, everybody should have individual independent aims. What is different that you're doing from your other group mates? One important thing about SURP recipients or UROP fellows in general is that for those who are elected to participate in SURP, you will also be required to register and present at the UCI Undergraduate Research Symposium in May 2027. Registration is separate from this application and will open in winter 2027. This year, we do have Symposium coming around in May 2026. that does not mean that you are presenting. So you will not present until next year. So I don't want you to get confused that you think that you will be presenting in the next couple of months. So I threw around the term UROP Fellow, and a UROP Fellow is a title where you can get exclusive skills and benefits. SURP is one of those ways to becoming a UROP Fellow. As a UROP Fellow, you develop valuable skills that help your academic, personal, and career readiness areas. It also helps you prepare for the future. We've discussed with employers, like what are they looking for in students? And a lot of employers have identified 8 core values that they seek when it comes to hiring college graduates. So the first one would be career and self-development. They also look for communication, critical thinking, equity and inclusion, leadership, professionalism, teamwork, and technology. When it comes to participating in any of our recognition and funding opportunities, I do recognize that our applications are intensive, which is why we hold a lot of value and weight to our UROP Fellow title. Not anybody can get the UROP Fellow title. We recognize that you put effort in your proposals, you put effort in personal statements, you put a lot of effort in even doing research on its own. So we would like for you all to have that UROP Fellow title and have you show it off on your resume or graduate school applications. So that's what a UROP Fellow is. When it comes to UROP Fellows, there are new benefits that we would like to share and highlight. So for those who are elected to participate in SURP, one of the new benefits that we're rolling out this year is that if you are elected, you will receive a graduation cord. You will have the opportunity to use the UROP Fellow title on your resume or CV or graduate school applications. You will also have access to UROP Fellow resources and community. So one of the new things that we're also rolling out this quarter, or that we did, is the UROP Fellow series where we hosted exclusive workshops for UROP Fellows only. So the past 2 weeks, we had a CV resume workshop on how you can use your UROP Fellow title within CVs and resumes. And the other workshop that we had was a graduate school application workshop where you can highlight or understand how you can talk about your research and how it's helped you in graduate school. And then another thing is that with being a UROP Fellow, you have an exclusive opportunity to apply for the UROP Travel or Publication Award. Previous years, Travel Award or the Publication Award was open to all UCI undergraduate students, but we have made changes to only make it exclusive to UROP Fellows. So whether you received a funded award or a non-funded award, you are eligible to apply to the UROP Travel or Publication Award. So these benefits are effective for any UROP recognition and funding opportunities from fall quarter 2025 moving forward. So if you were a UROP Fellow from last year, unfortunately, you do not qualify for the graduation court unless you receive the SURP coming up or any opportunities moving forward. We are piloting all of these new benefits, which is why we are being selective on who receives these. Okay, so when it comes to preparing your application, it might look a little scary, but in all honesty, it's a lot of simple information. So when it comes to submitting your application, the first information that we will ask you all to submit is information about yourself. It includes your name, your email, your phone number, your academic background, including your school, major, and class level, when you expect to graduate, as well as financial aid status, and additional email addresses for notifications. This section right here is essentially asking you to put the email address of your PIs, otherwise your mentors, so that they can get notified of the status of your application. With that as well, we're asking for information about your mentors, including their school and department. And then if you have any other mentors, including graduate students or other mentors or faculty who would like to be aware of your information, go ahead and add their background there. Another section is the project information. So we would like information about your project title, if you've received any funding in the past, and we would also like for you all to indicate if your project involves any humans or animal subjects. In addition to that, we would like to know if your project is related to a class or a club. Earlier on, I mentioned that we do have some required documents in order for you all to participate in SURP, and those 3 important documents are a proposal, a personal statement, and a faculty mentor agreement form. I will go into detail for these three forms in just a minute. But one thing that I do want to know about the faculty mentor agreement form is that your mentor is responsible for completing the form and confirming their mentorship commitment to you. If they do not upload this form or if you don't send it to them and complete it, unfortunately, your application will not be reviewed at all. So you could do everything correctly, the proposal, personal statement, to fill everything out. If you are lacking the faculty mentor agreement form, unfortunately, your application will not be reviewed. So make sure you go ahead and send this form to your faculty as soon as possible, just because I do understand that sometimes it could get a little difficult to get a hold of them. So the sooner you send it, the better it is for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into the proposal a little bit more. So for those who have written a proposal, every opportunity or professors have different expectations. For our purposes only, we are drifting away from what we used to ask for you all in the past. So for a proposal, it describes your project and should convince the reviewers of its significance and the need for funding if you are requesting it. The reason we state if you are requesting it is because not everyone desires to apply to SURP to get money. A lot of students desire to apply to SURP to just have the UROP Fellow title. If that is not you and you are requesting funding, just make sure that you're convincing the reviewers why you need money. You should also ask your faculty mentor to review your proposal in enough time to make any revisions that they may suggest before you submit your application. We do have some elements that we would like for you all to include in your proposal, including your thesis, purpose, objective, and approach. Your responsibility, meaning what is it that you're doing, what is your role, and how is it different from your faculty mentor. A timeline, so how do you expect your research to go about? Do you intend to get participants in the first 2 weeks, in the first month? What is it? Paint a picture for us because we're not part of your research project. Also, any references that you are referring to. And like I mentioned, everybody has different expectations about a proposal, but for UROP's purposes, we're asking for a minimum of 2 pages. If 2 pages is the max for you, then great. If 3 pages is the max for you, then great. Anything for you to be able to discuss and synthesize what it is that you're doing, we would like, again, at least a minimum of 2 pages. If you feel like you need to write more, then that's fine. If you feel like 2 pages is enough for you, then great. When it comes to formatting your proposal, we are a little bit of a stickler on how you do it. We do ask folks to please write your name at the top of the document, especially the name of the faculty mentor. Again, minimum is 2 pages, but if you need to write more, that's okay, but make sure that you keep it concise. I also don't want to see 20-page papers. I also want you folks to double space your paper, make sure you have 1-inch margins, have font size that's 11-point type or 12 typically. The font types that are easy for us to read include Times New Roman, Calibri, or Arial. Make sure that your document is 8.5 by 11. Please submit it as a Microsoft Word file or PDF. So these two are very important. If you submit a different type of document, it will likely not be read. Okay, so these are the formatting specifications that we have, and we please ask you all to follow this. Some of you might have not had experience of writing proposals. One great thing about people having applied to our funding and recognition opportunities in the past is that we have some examples of proposals for you all. So in order to be able to find these sample proposals, I actually want to just show you how to get there real quick. So if you go to urop.uci.edu, you want to head to Opportunities, UROP Recognition and Funding. At the very top here, we have all of our opportunities, but because we're talking about SURP, I'm going to have you all click on SURP. And it's a little hidden, which is why I want to show you. If you go to prepare your application, you should see right here on the second bullet, view our sample proposals. So if you click on sample proposals, what you'll see is we have organized them by school. And within the schools, we have also organized our proposals by recognition and funding opportunities. So if you see fall, that means that this proposal was written for the Research Experience Fellowship. So the ones that you might want to look at are the ones that indicate SURP. You could take a look at the ones that say fall, just so that you can see what it looks like overall. But if you feel more comfortable at only looking at proposals that are SURP specific, go ahead and do that. But I will say, I don't know that we have a SURP proposal for every school. My hope is that we do. So as an example for business, we don't. Um, what I will say is take these proposals as a grain of salt. The proposals that we've uploaded on this site are not uploaded because we're saying that they're perfect, but more of like, hey, every school creates their proposals differently. So I just want to give you all a general idea. So just go ahead and click this one, for example, an art school proposal. This student wrote an abstract, has their topic or thesis statement, purpose, so on and so forth. And for this student, because this was from our old application, this student didn't do the minimum 2 pages. They could have done 2 pages minimum, but we have changed our requirements since then. So this is where I say, again, use these proposals as a grain of salt because our requirements have changed. If you would like to look at other schools, go for it. We have School of Humanities. You can look at how other disciplines organize their proposals. But all in all, please go ahead and follow our specifications on how to format and include the overall elements that we're asking for. So again, if you've never used a proposal or written a proposal before, I would highly suggest that you take a look at these. Okay. So the second document that we are asking from you all is to write a personal statement. If you have applied to SURP in the past before, this is another change that we have moved forward with. So before I get into the change that we made, a personal statement basically describes your relationship to the project in a concise and focused manner. So we would like for you all to address the following in no more than 2 to 3 sentences for each. We would like for you all to highlight your interest and motivation, your personal connection to the project, your goals and impact, and relevant background. Instead of writing multiple pages, this year we're only asking for 300 words maximum. So we're making your lives easier, which also makes our lives easier when we read your applications. What I would like to say about this is get to the point. I've noticed that with personal statements, a lot of students tend to fluff. You only have 300 words, so make sure that you maximize your real estate concisely. And with the personal statement, basically, we're just trying to see why this project is important to you. As an example, if you are doing research on cancer, is the motivation for you to do research on cancer because you have a family member who has been impacted by cancer and you have seen firsthand the effects of of cancer on family dynamics? If that is you, go ahead and tell us that in your story. We just want to understand what motivates you to do this research and what makes you be passionate about it. You can do research in any field, but why specifically this topic and discipline? So that's what a personal statement is. Very similar to the proposal, we would also like you all to be specific in the way that you format your personal statement. So with a personal statement, again, the maximum is 300 words. We would like for you all to double space it, have 1-inch margins, have font size 11 point or larger. I would say stick to the 11 to 12 and have the font type be Times New Roman, Calibri, Arial. Of course, have your document size be 8.5 by 11. And again, also upload this document as a PDF or a Microsoft Word file. I do not want to see links or hyperlinks to Google Docs because that's not what we're asking for. Please submit an actual file. All right. So the third document that is really important that I kind of mentioned on a little earlier on is the Faculty Mentor Agreement Form. So a UCI Academic Senate faculty may serve as a faculty mentor on your UROP proposal. You will need to upload the completed form in your application. Incomplete applications without this form will not be reviewed. So just quickly, because I'm going to show you where this information is later on. Actually, never mind. It's not hyperlinked. But again, an academic senate faculty just kind of highlights who qualifies as a faculty. You might be working with a professor here at UCI, but if they're not considered academic senate faculty, you might not be qualified to apply to SURP. So your faculty will need to verify that they or their designee will mentor you on the proposal and provide ongoing guidance throughout your research project. We have run into situations where students have a mentor or a faculty who says that they will guide them, and at the end of it, students are doing their project on their own and have minimal guidance. We don't want that experience for you, which is why we have this faculty mentor agreement form so we can kind of hold faculty accountable. The other point of it is that if your mentor, or let's say you have a faculty who leads your project, but you don't necessarily have the most contact with them, but you do have a close relationship with a PhD student or a graduate student in general, that professor can designate the role to the postdoc or the graduate student. The faculty just needs to include their information and essentially say, hey, I give permission to this graduate student to help me mentor and guide this project. So overall, we do need that faculty signature. However, they can designate responsibility to a graduate student to mentor you on your project. That is a-okay. With the faculty mentor agreement form, they are also agreeing that they will review your research proposal and certify that it is reasonable to expect that the project will be successfully completed within the timeline specified. Like I mentioned earlier, your summer project does need to happen over the summer. It has happened as well where we have students who apply to SURP and they don't do research until the fall. That's not what the point, that's not the goal of SURP. The goal of SURP is to conduct your research over summer. As well as if you are conducting research with humans or animals, we would like your faculty to review the instructions with you and make sure that you are moving forward with all of the approvals that you need, including self-exemption. So again, only Senate faculty members may serve as faculty mentors. Graduate students, postdocs, adjunct faculty, research staff, or other non-Senate faculty may not serve as your primary. However, they can designate someone to assist you with your research. Putting it all together, your primary must be a UCI faculty mentor. But again, they can give us permission or give a graduate student permission to serve as your mentor. But primary should always be a UCI faculty mentor. When it comes to SURP as well, we always want to ensure that you are all conducting ethical research. So if you are working with human subjects, the board of research that you're working with is IRB, so the Institutional Review Board. So they review research involving human participants to ensure that you are meeting ethical standards. So this is required for some types of human subjects research. It is important that you have that conversation with your faculty to ensure if you need IRB approval or not. There are some categories that do qualify for self-exemption, but you do have to submit an application to make sure that you are telling the IRB that you are self-exempt. If you are working with animals, that means you are working with the Institutional Animal Care and Use Committee, so the IACUC. So this just, again, kind of holds that you are reviewing research involving live animals and that you are caring for them and ensuring humane treatment for any animals that you're working with, including frogs, rats, rabbits, so on and so forth. All right. So the one resource that I do want to highlight for you all is the SURP guide. So I will not be sharing the slides for today. I will have the recording, but I do want to highlight and point you all towards the SURP guide because that is where all of the information from the slides are from. The SURP guide will answer most, if not all, of your questions, and it contains all the content that was discussed today. It also includes all of the important links that you need, and we have an FAQ section. So I do also want to highlight where you can find the SURP guide. So going back to our website, you will go to Opportunities, UROP Recognition and Funding. If you go to SURP, you will see this beautiful thumbnail right here. Go ahead and click on it. And what's really nice is that we have a clickable table of contents for you. So I would like to actually jump to important links. So if you go to important links, you will see everything that you need, including the definition of a Senate faculty. You can go ahead and send your PI or your mentor this link and ask them, hey, are you someone who holds an academic Senate title? Yes or no? They will know most likely. And then we also have the SURP application in here that you can use to apply to SURP if it loads. When it comes to applying to SURP, I will say, try not to submit your application last minute. Our website for InfoReady typically does tend to crash and overload. I would hate for you all to put so much effort and work into your application and then the website shuts down or gets overloaded and your application doesn't go through. So make sure that you're always submitting your application as soon as you can, or at least with a lot of lead time before the deadline. We also have the sample proposals link right here that I showed you, but I also showed you how to get there without having to refer to this important links page. We also have the UROP faculty agreement form. So this is the form that you will send to your faculty, your primary UCI faculty, where they will put their information here. And then here, this is where they could check off if they're giving a graduate student the permission to mentor you if needed. And then they'll go ahead and fill out the rest of the information here. And then the other page that I want to highlight, if I can get to it, would be the UROP research protections instructions. So oftentimes when students apply to SURP, we often get contacted about IRB and the Animal Care and Use Committee. Quite honestly, we are not responsible for IRB or IACUC. Therefore, we have hyperlinked the resources for you all. So depending on what you are working with, either humans or animals, I highly suggest that you click on your relevant category. So once you select what's relevant to you, you can go ahead and follow this process with your faculty. We have written this document as clearly as possible to kind of help you figure out if you are exempt or not. Regardless, you do have to submit an application. And that is with an external site, not with us. And lastly, the other part that I want to show you is we do have a frequently asked questions section in here about how is the funding distributed? Can you apply to SURP if you applied last time and you got it? How can you increase your chances for receiving funding? The answer to that simply is have a strong application. Can your graduate student be your faculty mentor? Again, it should be a primary UCI faculty mentor, but they can designate responsibility to someone else. You can only submit one SURP application, and then other questions that you might be curious about as well. So the best advice that I can give you all is please, please, please use the SURP guide as your holy grail. Again, we've created this with intention and purpose to make your SURP application process easy. Again, we have all the information that I've discussed on our slides here just to make your life easier. And especially for this guide, we've made things in detail just so that you have an understanding of what we expect from you all. So for the proposal, for example, this is one of the elements, and we're asking you, we're probing you with questions about what we would expect you to answer within these paragraphs. So going back to here, that does conclude our information session for today. I do want to open up the floor for any questions or comments. And with that, I do want to thank you all for sharing space with me today. If you have any questions, go ahead and stay behind or drop them in the chat, and I can answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so I am getting a lot of questions in here. Seeing that there's an issue with the proposal rubric. Let me see real quick. It could be the case that you might have issues. Um, Interesting. I will bring this up to my team and let them know that we need to update this guide. So what I will do is I will contact our team and we can have an updated version of the SURP guide where we have the rubric included. So thank you for that. Let's see. Another question that I'm seeing is, if I'm doing UROP this school year, can I do SURP this summer as a continuation of the project and then UROP next school year, all of the same project? You can you can apply to our recognition and funding opportunities with the same project as long as there is progress. If you are stuck in the same place, then no, we will not accept your project. As long as we can see that you are making significant changes, then yes, you can apply to as many recognition and funding opportunities as you please. Another question that I'm seeing is that the project needs to be completed over summer, but does it need to be completed and finished during the summer, or can it continue through the fall in the case of a larger project? This one, we would like the majority of it to be done in the summer. And this is where, again, in your proposal, you need to specify the timeline. And if you need justification as to why it continues into the fall, write that. But we do expect the majority of it to be done in the summer, especially as the assumption is that a lot of students are not taking classes. And a lot of professors typically ask students to commit 10 to 15 hours a week. So that is a huge chunk of time to get research done. But again, have that conversation with your PI and see what timeline seems reasonable. But again, we do expect research to be conducted in the summer, the majority of it for sure. And the upcoming deadline for SURP, yes, it is April 3rd. And then for the applications, how many do we get? It's a tough number to give you. I will say that SURP typically is a little bit more competitive because it is a direct stipend to students, whereas our other applications is money given to the mentors department. In terms of how many do we accept, it just depends on how many strong applications we see. So I can't give you a definitive number for that. And then do we have to be on campus to be eligible for SURP? CS project could be done virtually with no need. I don't think that matters as long as you're able to complete research with a UCI faculty mentor. I don't think it matters if your research is done virtually or in person. Research is research. Where can you find the PDF of the guide? So again, if you go to UROP opportunities at the very top, recognition and funding, you'll select SURP and you'll see this thumbnail here of the SURP guide. What does the application mean about financial aid status? So sometimes it could impact students who receive financial aid because you're receiving a stipend. I won't go into too much detail because I'm not as familiar with financial aid in that way, but sometimes when you get a stipend, it could impact your financial aid package, which is why we ask for information on that. That way, if that is you who gets impacted, we can have a conversation with you. Does the timeline for the experiment need to span the entire summer? Can it span session one, for example, however long it is necessary? As long as it spans over the summer, I know there's summer session, there's three types of summer sessions. As long as you can say what your timeline looks like, I don't think it matters. Um, how competitive or selective is the SURP application? I would say it's pretty competitive just because a lot of students are in favor of a $1,500 stipend. Um, you can do everything right, but as long as you have a strong application and have a justification as to why you need the funding, I think you already are ahead of the game. One question I'm also seeing is we get paid for research materials or for our time, like if it was work. So this stipend, you can use it for anything. You can use it for rent, you can use it for research materials. It is a check given directly to you, which is what's unique about SURP and which is why a lot of students favor SURP. So you can decide how you use your money. If you intend to present at a conference, I do highly suggest you put some chunk of change away to print your poster. But if you want to use the rest of the money on groceries or rent, go for it. It's your money. Essentially, we recognize that a lot of students typically do research for free or on a volunteer basis. So we want to have an opportunity to kind of pay students where we can, where we can. So I will say it is a unique opportunity. No, you do not have to be enrolled in summer courses to participate in SURP. All we ask is that you have a UCI faculty senate. Is it less competitive if we are not seeking a financial award? Regardless, I would say it's pretty competitive, whether you're looking for a funded or non-funded award. I will say that if you're looking for a funded award, that is a little bit more limited. We try to give as many SURP awards as we can, but in terms of the funding aspect of it, we only have so much funding that we can give. How do we send an application for our faculty mentor to fill out the agreement section? So you would send them the PDF and you would upload the PDF itself to the application. Um, if there are two people from the same lab, what is a good way of differentiating ourselves to get chosen for SURP? Have independent aims. I'm sure you both might have different responsibilities in the lab, and you might also have different motivations as to why you're part of the project. So make sure that you are writing separate personal statements and separate proposals. If you apply for funded but don't get accepted, are we also rejected from unfunded? No, you are also considered for the non-funded award as well. If you're working on a multi-year project in a faculty-led lab, is that eligible for SURP? It is not possible to finish the project or even get most of it done during the summer, but a significant portion of work will be done. As long as a significant portion could be done, or at least you can have an outline of what or a timeline of what you're doing over the summer. Essentially, we just want to make sure that you are actually doing something. Because SURP is so competitive, we want to make sure that we are giving an award to a student who is highly committed and as actually putting in the work to do research over the summer versus a student who claims to be doing work over the summer. Um, I believe I've answered everyone's questions. So if you have any more questions, feel free to go ahead and continue dropping questions in the chat and or make an appointment with a UROP advisor. But please, please, please always use the SERP guide. I will go ahead and contact our team about the rubric. And if we do update the SERP guide, we'll go ahead and make sure we update the website as well. And then you will get one graduate sash overall. So if you get SERP and other applications, you will not get a graduate sash per opportunity. You get one sash overall. And how do you make an appointment with a UROP advisor? So if you go to contact us here, you can see schedule an appointment and it'll take you to a Microsoft form that essentially kind of gives you conditional formatting or a tree flow of like what it is that you want to meet with us about. You can meet with either student staff or you can meet with professional staff like myself. Is it possible to get less than 1,500? I believe it is a flat 1,500. I don't think you get less or more. All right. Well, thank you everyone. Have a great day and good luck on your SERP applications.